home of the slave. My people never scared, stand up, stay brave. For the people, by the people, we built this joint. All facts, no filter, always on point, speaking truth to power. We done playing by the rules, taking back what's ours. Fuck 40 acres and a mule. Yo, yo. This is America. This is America. This is America. This is America. This is America, land of the free, home of the slave. My people never scared, stand up, stay brave. For the people, by the people, we built this joint. All facts, no filter, always on point, speaking truth to power. We done playing by the rules, taking back what's ours. Fuck 40 acres and a mule. Yo, yo. This is America. This is America. This is America. This is America. This is America, land of the free.
Check. Welcome to FTP Put Me On. Today we want to again give a shout out to our FTP fam Chessie, aka HHCF, for putting us on to a list of 30 black owned businesses all around the US. And the link to that video will be in the description below. 30 businesses is a lot, so on today's show, I want to put a spotlight on a local business on that list, which is based here in LA, and it's called Supermarket. It's located at 3526 West Slauson Ave, Los Angeles, California, 90043, and the hours are from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. So, go and get you some fresh food from a black-owned business that started as a pop-up in 2016. They continued growing year after year and then purchased the Slauson location in 2020. From 2021 to 2023, they worked on the build-out and finally having a grand opening in June of 2024, blocking off Slauson Avenue to celebrate a real win for the neighborhood and a healthier lifestyle right smack in the middle of the black community. So give it up for Supermarket. The website is supermarket.la, and that is spelled SUPRMARKT.LA. You can even grocery shop online, but I'm pretty sure it's only for local and or pickup only. Give it up again for Supermarket LA. Ah!
Are you ready for all facts, no filter? Then lock in with the FTP podcast. For the people, by the people. Politics, race, pop culture, and community from a black perspective. Raw, real, uncensored. Connect with us online at the FTPpodcastnetwork.com. Watch us live every Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday at ftp-live.theftppodcastnetwork.com. Subscribe on YouTube at For the People Podcast Show. Follow us on Instagram at FTP Podcast Show. And shop exclusive FTP merch at ftp-store.printify.me.
Motherfuckers with an attitude. No papers, no English. Anti-black and rude. You POC, but you wanna be YT. Seat at the table, as an equal you'll never be. Came to this country off the civil rights side. Get your money up, then stab us in the back. You hate us, but you need us. Gotta make it make sense. When it comes to the whites, y'all just niggas with accents. Let them know y'all just niggas with accents. Let them know y'all just niggas with accents. Let them know y'all just niggas with accents.
Hey guys, welcome to For the People podcast. I am your host, Vision X, and this show is for the people, by the people, to bring power back to the people. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me in here. So if you can, sorry about that, if you can please let me know if you guys can hear me, that would be great. Also, if you're on any other platforms, please make sure to come to YouTube. This is where we see your comments. Also, if you're on the FTP podcast network, which is our website, that's where everything will be moving over starting in August. So we'll be on YouTube on Sundays and Wednesdays for the first hour. And then after that, we'll be moving over to specifically to the FTP podcast network. And we'll be doing it that way moving forward. And so that's where most of all of our content will be there. And we'll be talking about additional content as well. Also, I want to say hello to everybody in our chats. This is what we normally do throughout the show. And actually, I'm going to pull the chat up right next to us, so that way everybody can see who's all here and everything. TDG, nice to see you. Claire Greer, Donna Jean, and then usually HC and other people are here, but they're probably on the other platforms. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull this up real quick, and also I'm going to show you the website real quick, you guys, so that way you guys can see it. Remember, it's the FTP Podcast Network. Jason worked very hard on this. This is what we'll be having all of our content moving forward, starting in August. Okay. Today we'll be on all platforms, but what you do is you go to the FTP Podcast Network, and then you click the drop down. It says Watch Live. You can also look at our past shows as well. You'll go ahead and click on this, and then as you see, this is currently live. So this is actually happening in real time right now, and so more people will join the chat eventually. Usually the chat have more people that's joining. It's usually happen within the first 5 minutes or so. So just want to let you know how you guys can watch the shows moving forward. We want to make sure that you guys had that. Now, what we're going to do, let me go ahead and click out of this 1 second. And I'll pull it up later in the day as well. So I wanted to show, just have a little icebreaker today while everybody is still coming in. Nice to see you, AR. I don't even know how to say your name, LaBall, LW3BH. But I want to pull this up real quick. Now, we talked about this video yesterday. This was the Tigger situation. I thought this was pretty funny. Somebody already did a spook on it already, so take a look. We'll be right back.
Just let her have a phone. Get you a new phone. Mr. Tigger! No. Mr. Tigger! Stop! You jumping on her! You jumping on her, Mr. Tigger! She ain't even do nothing! Say excuse me. That wasn't even me, bro. Mr. Tigger! Be a man, Mr. Tigger. You gotta be quicker than that, Mr. Tigger. Oh, you keep. Oh, damn. Oh, Mr. Tigger. Oh, Mr. Tigger, you're so strong. Stop. Let me go. You enemy's stepping on her. Just let her have a phone. Get you a new phone. Mr. Tigger. No.
So yeah, so this is making its rounds and out there and everything. I thought that was funny because this is just how the video actually looked. I saw you, kids. My name, nice to see you as well. Nikki, nice to see you, and Racio, nice to see you guys as well. Sorry, I'm saying hello to everybody. Again, if you're just joining, if you're on any of the platforms, come to YouTube. We'll see your comments in here. We're on all the platforms today. Now, but I thought this was a mess right here. Also, if you guys want to come on the show and speak about things as well, you can as well. I will be having a discussion in regards to the Nolan Wells situation, but what I experienced in foster care. There was a few things that happened, and I think people need to know about it. And so that's something that I'm definitely going to be talking about today. Now, while we're at it and we're already talking about things, that's not, we already played this video the other day, and it was in regards to all these people that are currently missing right now, okay? So you see Lauren Smith, Elijah, Ashley, Janae, James, Kendrick Johnson, Tamla Harshford. That's the one that always resonates with me because this particular one right here, this one, every time I see that and I saw this with the Nolan thing, everybody in the photo was smiling. Everybody before they ended up unalive. So this is right here. This is exactly what I be talking about. They will smile in your face, say that they, I love all Black people or Asians or whatever. I'm so inclusive. We also showed that video yesterday where an Asian woman had went missing, and the white lady was like, "Oh, she was never really my friend. I never really knew her," but they have tons of videos and photos and everything of them together. It just tells you that a lot of them just don't rock with us like that. But this is another story that just happened. This is an 11-year-old Black girl who was unalive in a boating trip, just like Nolan. So I want us to take a look at this because I'm showing you these clips because I'm going to tell you exactly what happened to this foster child, a Black one, where I don't even know. I don't believe nothing that the foster parent said. I don't believe nothing that the cops said. I don't believe nothing. Even the caseworkers, I don't believe nothing. The boy disappeared. Okay. So the reason why I'm showing you guys is because I'm going to tell you exactly what I experienced growing up in foster care, not in foster care in total, but I'm going to tell you exactly this situation in particular that kind of, gives me pause about things. So take a look at this and we'll be right back.
We got another one, just like Nolan, but this time it's an 11-year-old Black girl. Kristen Gary pleads not guilty to felony child endangerment charge in fatal boating accident. Kristen Gary faces third-degree felony charge after she went on a boat with an 38-year-old and an 11-year-old. So allegedly, this woman went on a boat with an 11-year-old Black girl and another white man, and the Black girl fell out of the boat. And this woman did not call the cops for a whole fucking day. They searched for her body for a day. They couldn't find it. Then they went back to shore. And then eventually, apparently the mom or something like... Long story short, I don't know the detail. I read up on it. No, she was arrested because they found the girl later on. They found the 10-year-old girl, 11-year-old girl. She's dead. This happened over July 4th weekend. Over the 250-year anniversary of the United States. They did not call 911. She decided to take it upon herself to search. She didn't find the body. She went home, and then, I don't know, I got to read this up more, but long story, the main detail here is she went on a boat with an 11-year-old girl. The 11-year-old girl drowned, and she did not call 911.
So I want us to, what the heck is that? Sorry, you guys, I'm trying to figure out somebody pulled up this graphic. I don't know why they did that. Somebody else is on, I don't know why somebody did that. Anyways, this is what's currently going on, right now with everything that's currently happening in regards to this. And I'd be telling everybody, you got to be careful dealing with these type of situations, because this is the stuff that pops up. This is the stuff that happens on a daily basis. So it's not like this Nolan thing is like some one-off thing. This is what happens quite often. And then also, there was updates in regards right here. And, the police report also sat there and stated that, they said he was having a mental breakdown. They were trying to calm him down, etc. And again, nobody know what happened to him. Now, what's interesting about this story right here with this Black kid is that somebody who took his phone also was trying to charge his Venmo and Cash Apps and everything on his phone. So they was making purchases with his account. These are supposed to be people that's friends. These are supposed to be people that like him. And we keep telling y'all, stop being in these spaces by yourselves, especially if you're an only Black person. You just got to stop doing it. I don't know how else to rewrite that or say it, but you got to stop doing that. And then also, this white man, he kind of breaks it down for us, because again, I'm going to tell you a story about when I was in foster care and what happened to a foster child. And this is our short show today. So, I'm just going to tell a quick story about it and, be done with it. But this is just a reminder of the things that, I've experienced and witnessed when I was in foster care, and how this, this stuff kind of affects me to this day in regards to this. Take a look at this.
White people don't like Black people. Now, that's a statement that really riled up some of my friends on Facebook. I saw it in a comment section about the tragic homicide of Nolan Wells. A Black commenter said, most white people don't like Black black people, and a lot of my white liberal friends seemed very upset. They felt like that white people were being mischaracterized, that stereotypes were being applied to people unfairly because all the people in their social circle like black people, and they voted for Kamala Harris, and they voted for Barack Obama. Listen, there's a shit ton of white people in this country that voted for Barack Obama and voted for Kamala Harris, and have black friends that still don't like black people. Let me explain to you white people. I know all the black people in here watching already know this, don't you? So for the white people in this song, let me give you an explanation. You like black people and never in time basis. You can't like black people and
he's pretty much telling you about that, because we would have a lot of them that will hang out with us, but they only tolerate us, or they're only being nice to us. They don't really like us. And I had to take that into account when I was in foster care. As I'm going back, I was like, you know, when I first moved from there to out there in the country, I was like, oh, you know, I felt like this was more of like an experiment. And, you know, I'm used to seeing, when I was out there, and I cannot wait to tell you guys the story. This is the type of stuff that we used to see on a daily basis. Even when I got out of foster care and I was, you know, working and everything, these were the type of things we used to see. Take a look.
You in my country.
Why am I in your country?
Yeah, do I need to call ICE? Not right.
What are you talking about?
You're not.
What?
Are you?
I don't understand your line of questioning here. I'm not doing anything to do with politics.
Oh, okay. Then why are you in my country?
Why am I in your country?
And then we should also see stories like this a lot in Kansas and Missouri. And I mean a lot. It was always on the news, but what they did, they'll show up for a day or two and they'll take it down, especially if they're not like famous or something, they would take it down. Take a look.
Lance Baker, who is a 46-year-old veteran, was chased down by his 17-year-old son, stabbed multiple times. This man was banging on several doors, going from one door to the next door, and all of this is caught on a neighbor's Ring camera. The neighbor said that when she ran her camera back, she can hear Lance begging for help. Please help me, and screaming that I don't want to die, as he is being chased down by his own son, who apparently was upset because he was being disciplined. Now, mind you, the 17-year-old son had already stabbed his mother to death. The father was the next victim. Guys, this case is going to take us down to Daphne, Alabama on Sunday night, July 5th of 2026. Now, our victim is 37-year-old Samantha Baker. Now, her son stabbed her to death. They said that they found her body right outside her front door. So I'm assuming that she was also trying to exit like her husband Lance and just collapsed there. She was pronounced deceased at the scene. Lance was found in a neighbor's yard and he had to be airlifted. Luckily, he was able to make it. They say that he is in stable condition and it is assumed that he will be okay. Now, here's allegedly what happened. At around 9 o'clock at night.
And one more story like this one right here. It's not just the women, it's also, the men, but it's also the women as well. Take a look.
This newly surfaced video shows an Israeli woman walking down the street with an axe after ending her own son's life. This is actually from 2024. She was alone with her son that day. She took the kitchen knife, ended her dog, and then ended her son in the bathtub before walking out in a dress and sunglasses.
And that's right there. And then also now, since the Nolan Wells thing is kind of is out there, we got people making videos like this. This is a whole black man. That's why we're telling y'all we got to salvage what we can salvage. I saw another video and they took it down. This black man was going up to this young black dude. He said, "Hey, brother, and I'll play this in a second." He said, "Hey, brother, you okay?" It was one black kid and it was like 20 white kids, but they were just walking. And when I tell you the black kid act like he didn't want to shake the man's hand, act like he didn't want to acknowledge him or nothing. It's from the top down. When it comes to us, we treat each other just like how other races treat us, like crap. So that's why when I see like these videos, I'm not shocked. You can go anywhere in Missouri, you can go anywhere in Kansas, you can go Iowa, Idaho, Nebraska, Indiana is a big spot like that, Alabama, Mississippi, you will see this type of behavior. This is another one that you'll see. Take a look.
See, you try to.
Now that was a black dude in the same situation that everybody else's was, and now he's sitting here making fun of it. A lot of black people think this stuff is funny. This stuff is not funny. When you end up, and you only get one life. When you end up unalive, just how what happened to Ashley overseas, and when she was over there in forgot what African country it was, and that white man chased her. It is what it is at this point. You didn't like black people, etc. We talk about this so much on this show. So it's like a whole course of things. Now I'm going to show one last video, and then we're going to have a real conversation about what I experienced. Take a look at this.
This is going to be a hot take, and it's either going to get me canceled or people are going to be like, you're right. So here we go. I'm just going to say it. Black people have got to stop hanging out with groups of white people. And I mean that. If you're going to be the only black person in that group, go home. Go home. Because these days, you just can't trust white people anymore. Obviously. It happens time and time and time again. You see one black person hanging out with their group of white friends, and they're like, oh, I've known these guys for forever. We grew up with them. I'm the only black person in the high school or something like that. Especially down here in the South, okay? Down here in the South. Obviously, we realize that these pieces of crap, the white people, will turn on you. They will turn on you quick. So not only do y'all have to be worried about the police, now you need to be worried about your group of white friends that you grew up with. And am I saying every white person's like that? No, obviously not. Okay, but better be safe than sorry, right? And that's a shame. But I just keep seeing it happen. And like over the past 2 or 3 years, especially, if you know what I'm talking about, people have just gotten louder and prouder about it. So really it all boils down to like a lack of empathy these days. That's a whole nother subject though. But yeah, and don't come for me about hair. It's just running 5 miles. This is gonna be a hot take, and it's either gonna get me canceled or.
Now, what she's telling you is the honest truth. Telling you straight on up the honest truth. And that's a white woman. We showed plenty of videos. I don't think this is the only video we showed. I think we've showed at least, I promise you, I would say at least a good 30 videos of white women like this that's telling you that even other white people can't be trusted. Even when you read the comments in here, and it's just like, and I know this other screen is blocking it, but somebody said if a white person is saying that, then listen. Somebody wrote that. Somebody said, she said, white people can't be trusted anymore. We didn't trust you in the first place. Another person said, it's a lot of white people telling y'all this. And we play this a lot on FTP podcast. We are not trying to sit here and, we focus on everybody. Everybody knows on FTP podcast, everybody can get it. We talked about blacks, we talk about whites, we talk about disabled, we talk about Christians, Muslims, we talk about everybody. Everybody can get it on FTP podcast. But this is right here is, I'm seeing this videos and other videos like this since Nolan. I think I'm seeing at least 10 to 20 different white folks a day saying the same thing. So I'm gonna tell you a story about when I was in foster care. Not my full story in foster care, but I'm gonna let you guys know what I've experienced and something that's always been weighing on my mind. So when I was in foster care, I was around 15 years old. They sent me out to the country. My case managers, they were very racist. They didn't care about being racist. They don't care how you feel. They sent me out to the country. Now, going out to the country, especially like in Kansas and Missouri and Iowa, there ain't hardly no other race out there. I don't care who you're talking about. There is hardly any other race out there. You have, black, you'll have, you'll have I mean, you may have like one or two blacks. You may have an Asian. You might have some white Latinos out there whose last names maybe change, but for the most part, it's going to be white people. And that's what it was when I was out there in the country. It was mostly white people. And when I went out there, it was eye-opening because being from the city is very different from the country. These people out there, it is very I'm trying to figure out how to put this nicely. Back then there was no cell phones, okay? So, everybody got a cell phone now. They can look on social media, they can see different groups of people, different religions, dances, all that. We didn't have access to social media stuff back then. The only thing we had access to was TV. So whatever they saw on TV, if Fox News or ABC News or NBC News put something on TV and was like, oh, these black people came out here and they robbed this store, or these Latins, they came up here and they're stealing your jobs, or which was huge when Trump got elected. So I want y'all to keep that in mind. Or the Asians, they're coming out here and trying to buy up all the business and put the America in debt. It was always something. And this is all these people saw every day. They watched Fox News faithfully. That was like religion out there. It was Fox News. They'll watch some country music stations. They might watch an award show. But other than that, they had no interest in really learning about anything else black. So when I went out there, there was already there was another black foster kid who was out there like a couple of months before I was. And as I look at it now, I think it was an experiment. I think it was an experiment to see if black people are really like that. I really think so. I think it was an experiment. I think it was an experiment because another thing that I noticed out there was this whole thing about protect your own. And I already talked about the story of that white family whose daughter was brutally molested by those white boys who was on the football team. Remember, I told the story yesterday, so go back and watch yesterday's episode. But they were brutally molested her. And she pretty much, they ran the family out of town. The family only stayed there for 6 months. And that was white folks. They had favor with the judges. They had favor with the police department. They had favor with pretty much everybody. So at that particular point, there was nothing that, nobody could really do. So I'm already on edge because I'm sitting here like this, being out here with, I'm pretty much the only black kid out here. It was scary. And there was also this other thing about no outsiders. So that's why when I seen that happen to that white family, I was like, oh, now that I see why. It's pretty much they have no outsiders, but when it comes to especially other groups of races or religions, they don't want none of that out there at all. They made it clear, we don't want your kind here. We don't want city folks here. So this is me learning about this at 15 years old. I was 15 when this was happening, okay? And me and Thomas, we had interaction. Me and Thomas did not get along at all. He didn't like me. I didn't like Thomas. And that was clear. And as a couple of months went on, they was like, they asked me, my foster parents asked me, they said, all these were white people, they said, well, why are you and Thomas so different? Thomas is so, he listened to a lot of rap music. He's always wearing do-rags. He's always using slang. He's always grabbing himself. He always want to do stuff that we normally see on TV, and you're the total opposite. Why is that the case? I said we grew up in different environments. I had a grandma that taught me about people. I love school. I was always good at science, etc. So my grandma taught me about these things. And I didn't tell her they taught me about white folks as well, but I knew when I was around white folks how I was supposed to act. I'm in the country. I am and excuse me, I said it was 200 miles. It was I think Beatty, Kansas was 125 or 30 miles, something out there. It was out there. I think 140, but it's out there, way out there. So it's not in the city. It was a 2.5 hour drive, but it could be up to three hours. But that Kansas is like just nothing but open field, open corn and stuff. I stayed in Salina. That was even farther. That's 175 miles. So I've seen these things happen. And they asked a question, and that's what I stated. And Thomas made it clear he didn't like me. I didn't like him. So, when it was like chores and things that need to be done, I really didn't help him. He didn't help me. We kept it moving. And that's when I had a first taste of like really how like black people would treat each other when there's other white people around. And this is as a teenager, okay? I want y'all to put that I'm 15 years old. This is us as a teenager. So I'm like, okay. And what it was a lot of stuff like, when they had us do chores, like we had to Like we woke up like around 4 in the morning. We had to like feed the animals, put up stuff. And they didn't let they really didn't let their children do it. They had me and Thomas do it. So me and Thomas was sitting there competing to get these chores done. And then we had to go to school because, of course, we're in foster care. So, of course, the foster care system is watching to make sure that they're still following along, making sure, because these are foster parents. So we're still owned by the state. So the state of Kansas still has us over. And then we have the foster care facility that has all of our paperwork. So they know it, we're out there. And so we had to go to school. And then once we get off of school, then we had to do all the chores, the chickens, feeding all stuff. So pretty much I felt like we were black little slaves, underage slaves. Because they didn't work their white kids to the bone like that. They did not. Those white kids they didn't do no work. It was always an excuse or a complaint. And so pretty much in my opinion, I don't think that those foster parents really liked us. I think that we were an experiment. And they wanted to see if what they saw on TV was true about us. And when I came out there, it gave them a different opinion because it was like, oh, you don't act nothing like Thomas. I mean, Thomas, when you think of Thomas, and this is no offense to like DMX or anybody, think of DMX at his worst and put that on another person that you think of that's like that. They gotta scream, they gotta yell, they gotta always be fighting, they gotta rap or dance every 5 seconds. They gotta be thinking about something, and that's like very black, to try to prove to people that they're pro-black. And we're children, okay? I think Thomas was 6, 7. I think it was 17 because I think he was going to 18 or something like that. So this is what was going on in this house. Okay. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, it is what it is at this point. And everything changed when Thomas's caseworker came over. It was like a few months later, and the caseworker, I guess, and this is what Thomas told us, and then also the parents, our foster parents, our white foster parents told us. They asked Thomas, the caseworker she said, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And Thomas, being overly black and hate to say it ghetto, he told them, I want to be a porn star. They said, why do you want to be a porn star? He says, well, he's good at sex and he got a big thing. And the foster father, we saw his upsetness when we see how he was telling the story, and we saw how Thomas was laughing about it. And as Thomas told us the story, and he was telling us the story at the same time, you could see the foster father's face because he had told Thomas that just because you may got a big thing don't mean that you have purity. It's all about purity of the race or something like that. This is our foster father who's supposed to be taking care of us, telling an underage child about racial purity and things of that nature because he said that he has a big thing and he wants to be in porn. Now, did I want Thomas to say some stuff like that in front of these white folks? No, but you can't control Thomas. You couldn't say nothing to Thomas. Thomas, you put on DMX, you put on Snoop Dogg, you put on Biggie, you put, and I'm not talking about like the fun, cute popsy songs. I'm talking about hood stuff. Go ahead and shoot them up. Go ahead and break them off something. Go ahead and like real hood stuff. And so that's all they saw of him, and everything that they saw on Fox News, that's what they believe because they like, this is how Thomas really is. So when he says it to his caseworker, it changed the dynamics of the house because the father was upset. Now, maybe the father had a little thing or whatever, because, a lot of them, I remember I told you there's a book that this family showed me within miles. I think it was a 100-mile radius. It was people that they could not breed with or have sex with because everybody was either cousins, family members, aunts or uncles. So they didn't want to have any type of deformities or anything in their family because they were like, you could be dating a relative. You could be marrying a relative. I'm serious. This is how it was in the Midwest. This is how it was in Kansas. It was the same in Missouri as well. So a lot of the people, that's why they said they protect their own, no outsiders and blah, blah. But at the same time, they didn't want to be with each other because you don't know if you could be marrying a long distance sister or cousin, because there was a lot when I was out there. There was the father who would, breed with his daughter, and then the daughter would have his son, but also her son as well. But also she is the aunt. It was crazy, and this was acceptable in the country. This was acceptable behavior in the country. It was normal. That's why people would be like shocked. They're like, "Oh, I'm so shocked that there's this incest and pedophilia." And I'm like, have you talked to a child in foster care? Have you really sat down with them and read between the lines of some of these things? I said, this stuff is for real. This stuff is for real. I mean, like this stuff really happens out there. And so once that happened, I noticed that the mood with Thomas shifted. It like shifted. And after that, Thomas, they already was treating us bad. So what they would do sometimes is that, if we pissed them off or got upset at them or anything, like anything that made them upset, they would put us in the pig coop or the chicken coop. And then what they would do is they would throw the feed in there, and we would have to sit on, it was like a platform. So I'll put this like this, for example. It's like a platform. And we would have to be on this platform, and then they're down here eating and stuff, and the pigs get upset, and they climb up there, and then they climb down. And when I tell you, it was such a scary feeling. And these are people that's supposed to be taking care of you. This is people that say that they don't have any racial hangups or anything. Why would you treat children like that? I remember right after that, the father, he had cooked some food, my white foster father, and everybody went to go sit down. And he says, and then Thomas came in there. He was like, "Oh no, he said, you're going to eat outside." And Thomas was like, "Why?" He said, "Because I said so." So he ended up, picking up, Thomas's plate. So he waited for Thomas to sit down. This is a foster parent. He waited for Thomas to sit down. He picked up Thomas's plate, took this plate, he tossed the food outside, just tossed the food outside, and he was like, "Oh, now go out there and eat it. Since you got a big thing and everything, and you're so smart." This is all from a comment that Tom said that he wants, and I wish he didn't say this, but him wanted to be a porn star, and he got a big thing. I would never have to a group of white people like that. They already have problems with us already, and Thomas made it worse. So Thomas caused a lot of stuff for himself. I noticed that he was always in arguments with people. Before that happened, there was really not a lot of that. They really did not treat Thomas really bad, but they couldn't stand him, but they didn't treat him bad. Now they're treating him bad, all because the father was pissed off because of his comment. And this is a child, still underage, 18, still underage. I want y'all to put this in, and I'm 15, and I'm seeing all this happen because of a comment. So I'm just like, okay. And then he can go out for privileges. He used to go out a lot. They cut that off. They also gave him extra chores. So I seen that it was always arguments back and forth between Thomas and them. Now, Thomas was dating this white girl. This is in the country. This is why I tell Black people in general, especially the older generation and us or whatever, we got to start talking to each other. We all call it the talk. We have to talk with the police officers. We have to talk with, in racist neighborhoods. We have to talk. We need to start doing that talk again. Now, this was in 2003. I just want to remind you, this was in 2003. And I was sitting here like, dang, this is crazy. This is some crazy stuff. And then I want to show y'all a few things. Like, I couldn't find the movies, but we will also watch movies. So once they get done watching Fox News, once they got done watching the country awards or whatever, my white foster parents love stuff like this.
Sooner or later, somewhere in the course of eternal justice, thou shalt answer for this sin. Sin. There is no sin. Man does how he pleases with his property.
Now, this is the type of movies they will put on for us for entertainment. They love slave movies. Love slave movies. They love The Color Purple. The reason why I love The Color Purple, they was happy about the Miss Millie scene. When I tell you, they love the Miss Millie scene. That they would sit down and clap, and just for that scene. They hated the rest of the movie. They didn't care about none of the other stuff. But that right there, this 12 Years a Slave type stuff, they love watching movies. They also love Beloved. They love Beloved. because that's how they saw Black women. These are my foster parents. Like they love stuff like this. They love awesome movies like this as well. So this is the type of stuff that we were watching if they were not watching Fox News, if they were not watching the Country Music Awards, or if they weren't watching the news in general about, you know, them being in fear. And it was so scary because they would watch Fox News. I remember I think it was Thanksgiving. We was having eating and everything, and then they decided to turn on Fox News. Everybody was happy at first, and then all of a sudden they started getting upset and angry, and it's like their faces. And this is me remembering this when I was little. It's like their face started morphing into something that it just looked demonic to me. And it was scary. And me as a 15-year-old child, I was just like scared. And you already know the story I told you. I didn't eat at the house because the father, he would wake up, scratch his nuts, coughing, blowing his nose, go in there and make eggs and bacon sandwiches and stuff for everybody like it ain't no tomorrow, and wouldn't wash his hands. They really thought in racial purity. They're not dirty or whatever. And the house was always sick. I always had the little bandana. I always wore that because the house was always sick. We had strep, we had mono, we had somebody had whooping cough, the baby got sick. It was always somebody get sick because we're staying so close to the farm. And our foster parents and our foster brothers, they didn't believe in all that. They didn't believe in baths. They didn't believe in soap and all that stuff. And this is 2003. We're in 2026. Now people are starting to see on social media and things are starting to wake up a little bit, but we're still seeing videos of them proud of not washing up, them proud of not using soap, they don't wash up certain parts of their body, like washing their feet, washing their butt. They won't even do that. Like it's just what they did. And they was like, they're still alive, they're not dead or whatever. So they said, what's the problem? So in that house, I was like, oh man, I was bony. I was so skinny. You could like see my rib cage because I was scared to eat because everybody in the house was always sick. Somebody was always going to the doctor. The doctor was always coming out there. And like in the country, a Walmart could be like 50 miles away. So just imagine a doctor or a hospital being 60, 70 miles away. Because you're in a small town. So small towns, you have to travel far to these places just to get groceries or get gas. So sometimes we would have the doctor come out to the house, and because people slept in close quarters with the animals and stuff, or they would go out there and play with the greyhounds. They would go when they go hunting, they'll play with skunks. We had people playing with skunks and all that stuff, and also there was a rabies scare, a rabies, if you know what that is, because I guess one of the sons got bit by something, and they thought it may have rabies, so everybody had to go get checked out. It wasn't anybody in close contact because they don't want to give you a rabies shot if you weren't really affected by it because it's a very strong medication. So I'm experiencing all this at 15 years old. All this. I'm seeing what's happening to Thomas after he had a big old thing to the caseworker, which I would have still never said. And I'm just like, this is crazy. And if you think that's bad, when Thomas was telling the story, the two sons, they laughed about it, right? Right after he was done mistreating Thomas for like a few weeks, he mistreated Thomas until Thomas disappeared. I'm gonna tell you how that came about when Thomas disappeared, but I'm gonna tell you about the sons that was laughing about Thomas's comment, telling his caseworker that he wanted to be a porn star and stuff. So when they laughed, the father and the son started getting into it. He took away privileges. He said, y'all can't have your girlfriends come over here no more. That's done. For a while. Also, y'all gonna start doing chores now. If chores ain't done, we're gonna have a problem. And then their older son, well, actually both sons, but the older son, he had a Mustang, it was a greenish Mustang. He would usually drive to school. They took his keys. That's done, gone. Now, I want you to process this. This is all from an underage child who was having a conversation with the caseworker who asked the question, and he said he wanted to be a porn star and he had a big thing. This all stemmed from one comment. So not only did the black kids get in trouble, but their own biological kids got in trouble because the father was upset about it. Took away everything. And then the son tried to buck up to him, and the father slapped the snot at him and said, you do that again, I'm gonna break you in. Not sure what that meant, but I didn't want to see it. This is what was happening in foster care. And my caseworker, Karen, her name was actually Karen. That lady was a demonic, evil white lady. Man, I can tell you stories about Karen. I already talked about Julie Doyle. Julie Doyle was another one that was very racist and she was a mean lady. And she purposely did that to foster kids, but Karen was right there with her. And Karen would ask you questions. This is why I always tell people, don't be telling your business or talking at work, because Karen would come in with her reddish hair, and she would come and say, oh, well, how are you being treated here? And, do you have anything you want to tell me about the house? And I wouldn't say hardly anything to Karen, because there was another foster home I was in, and I told Karen something, and Karen went back and told the foster parents. It was something minor, and it ended up getting me taken from that home. So my trust as a 15-year-old, and seeing what my grandma had told me about white folks and this, it's like, okay, now I'm experiencing now. Now I'm seeing exactly what my grandmother told me. You know what I mean? And so now I'm sitting there looking like, this is what I'm having to experience. And so this was happening those last, few months that Thomas was there. And so the kids, the one of the kids, the youngest one, he wouldn't come home because his father was upset of him taking out them laughing about Thomas's comment. So he stopped coming home, and then it became an issue between this family and that family, because they, his daughter loved him. It was a whole mess. The older son, he would leave on days on end, and then it caused arguments. So it was like the whole house changed over one comment about porn and having a big black BBC from a 17-year-old child. This 40-year-old white man was upset about that. Took it out on everybody in the house. And I was just like, it was insane. And so the arguments got worse. They had, it was always something going on. They wouldn't invite Thomas out to things no more. We also get a stipend. What they did is a stipend like to help get clothes or something. They took the stipend and said, oh, we already feed and provide you, so we're not buying you no clothes. This is a stipend that the foster care system, which is not much, it was like $175. Now, $175 back then kind of stretched a little better, way better than it does today. And so they wanted us to have $175 worth of clothes, but I mean, you have to get shoes, socks, underwear, everything. So sometimes you have to pick and choose. So a lot of times you see the foster kids look raggedy. That's just how it was. And again, turn on movies like this. And movies like this was mandatory. You could not be in the house and not be watching. This is mandatory. Not being in the house watching these type of movies, you can get in trouble for it. They wanted to see these type of movies. This is the type of stuff that we had to watch. And so when we're watching stuff like this, it was just like it was crazy. It was like this is a place. This is what we were experiencing. And I had to get this story off my chest, because that's why I told Nikki and Trey, don't come today, because I wanted to talk about my experience at this house and what happened. And it still weighs heavily on me, because you see all these people that's missing, like Ashley, Janae, and Elijah, and all them stuff, or were missing, or were unalive, or etc. I witnessed this as a child. And this was, my grandma told me about them, but to experience it firsthand was crazy. So the arguments got worse, and Thomas allegedly, this is how this whole disappearing happened. Thomas was allegedly dating the this white girl, allegedly. I don't know, I've never seen her or whatever, but this is who he was dating. And when I went to school, now normally all of us go to school together. The Thomas, the two boys, and then sometimes the older boy's girlfriend, she would come and she would stay over and she would go to school with us. So we all take the bus together, because the bus goes around. Well, because all the privilege was gone and everything, everybody had to take the bus because the father was like, no, that's done. So everybody was on edge. Nobody in the house was talking to each other. It was one of those things. And this particular day, I get up to go to school. I'm ready to go. Thomas didn't go. They said Thomas had his caseworker was coming to see him or something like that. This is what the foster mother told me. His caseworker was coming to see him. The two boys, both of them, they didn't go to school. Not sure why they didn't go to school. They didn't go to school as well. So I was the only person on the bus that went to school. I come back home. The police is out there. I see some other it was quite a few white folks. I don't even know who they were. I'm thinking they having like a small get together or something. And I come into the house, and I go straight to my room because I said hi and I went straight to my room. And then Jessica, tried not to say her name, but she knocked on the door, and she tells me, "Oh, Thomas ran away." I said, "Thomas ran away?" I said, "Why would he run away?" She said, "I don't know. He just ran away. I just want to let you know that," and closed the door. Now I want y'all to process this real quick. We underage children, okay? I've been in foster care since I was 12 years old, 11, 12 years old. I have never seen a child who runs away from home and their entire room is stripped. Make it make sense. I have never. Now, you might have kids that will pack a few things. They pack their favorite toy. They pack their couple of clothes here and there. They'll pack like maybe an item that's really something that's of value to them that they like. But they don't just strip their room. The drawers were cleaned out. His bags was gone. The bed was stripped. All these white people there. Police is there. When they told me that it weighs, even though me and Thomas didn't get along, I hope that nothing happened to the boy. I really do, because I'm still trying to process what happened to him. I said, this is not clicking. It's not making sense to me that, and I've been in foster care since I was 12. I have never seen an entire room get stripped. And y'all said he ran away. Kids that run away from home or foster care, they don't strip all their stuff and leave. I've never seen that before. When I tell you that scared the hell out of me, it brought back everything that my grandma said or something. Dave was knocking on the door later that day to say, "Oh, you hungry?" No, I'm not hungry. No, nothing. I stayed in my room. You want to know what saved me? Their grandmother, she was such a sweetheart. She had came over and she had got me into Harry Potter. This is why people say, "Oh, you like Harry Potter?" Yeah. I said, Harry Potter, it took me out of the world I was in and put me into another world. And I felt safe. Even though there was a lot of stuff going on in the books, but I read the books, you guys, like read them. It kept me out of any type of conflicts with them. If they see me reading, they really didn't bother me. The foster care, they didn't bother me. So I felt safe. Let's put it that way. I felt safe. But I still didn't understand why the cops were there, why all these people were there. And so then later I asked the boys, I said, "Hey, what happened to Thomas?" I said, "They just say he just ran away." But I said, a kid who runs away from home don't just strip their whole room. They're stripped a room like that. They take a few things, and most of the times if they might not take something, they might just be ready to go. They might run, because that happened to me. I have never seen when my mom was abusing me and she tried to kill me and her husband was abusing me and stuff. You thought I was sitting there about to pack up like I'm going on vacation to Colombia or something, about to have a resort? I got up out of there. When my mom said she was going to kill me and she pulled a knife on me, I was out of there. Gone. You didn't have to tell me twice. My mom was on drugs. It was a lot of stuff going on back then, but I didn't sit here and strip a room. And I've never seen other foster kids strip a room. The oldest kid, he tells me, he says, "Oh, well, there was allegedly an incident that happened between Thomas and the white girl." Now, I'm not for sure what the incident was, but everybody knew. I do know that they were allegedly talking. Never really seen the girl. I seen her like in the distance or whatever, and she never really came over to the house. And I said, "So who was all those people that was here?" He said, "Well, one was her father. The girl was here, but one was her father, and they're trying to find Thomas and her." I said, "Okay." Now, the youngest one, he tells me, "I don't want to get involved in it." This is me at 15 seeing this happen in real time. all because of a comment. I've already seen how the town acts against other white people, how they ran that other white family out within 6 months. I've seen when we went to the fair and how I was in the lead in the fair and they changed the game so the white kids could win. I've seen this stuff. But when they told me that story, I was like, yeah, y'all crazy. I'm not buying that. You're not going to tell me that this kid just disappeared. And he could have got away. But I want y'all to process this. This is think of cell phones. Cell phones wasn't really back then like that. Cell phones didn't really start to become popular with people until I was in college, like around 2007, actually 2005. We had like the little tiny phones. It wasn't T-Mobile was really, really big at the time. They had the flip thing with the computer system and stuff. The phones were really different, but most of the phones were flip phones. Thomas didn't have no phone. Actually, most of Kansas City, especially in the Wyandotte County district area where a lot of black people was, a lot of black people couldn't afford it unless you had money. So and then also there was a credit check that you need to do to get a phone. So Thomas is 100-something plus miles from the nearest city. Plus, there's no cell phone that Thomas has got. And he's in these small towns where everybody knows everybody. Everybody talks about everybody's business. Everybody knows who didn't molested their child and had another child on the farm, and they know everything. That's all these people do is talk and gossip. That's why Love Island is so popular. People like this, chaos and drama and stuff like that. This is all these people did. So did Thomas escape with this girl and get out? Or is the girl at home? Or did the cops get Thomas? Or did these people do something to Thomas? I don't know. I have no idea I don't know if Thomas is alive this black kid is alive. I do not know. All I know is a foster child don't strip their bed if they're running away. I do know that. They're not going to run away and they're just not going to do that. I had to get this story off my chest because I have not really, really told anybody the story. And it was weighing on me because the Nolan thing happened and then all the other ones happened, especially the one where this kid, I think his name is Trevor, was in a rave. And he ended up hanging on a tree and ain't nobody seen nothing at a rave. Raves have thousands of people there. Everybody see everything. Nobody saw nothing. So I don't know what happened to Thomas. I hope he got away, even though me and the guy never really cared for each other at all. Because he didn't like me, I didn't like him. Okay, but I ain't gonna wish nothing on that kid like that. That's still. I don't wish that on nobody. I mean, but something happened between him and that white girl, and you're forgetting it. The father was already upset at his comment that he made to the caseworker about being in porn and having a BBC. I want y'all to know, what do y'all think in the comment section? Like, what do y'all think? Because I'm praying, but I even after that, and so after that, I would say probably 2 months later, the father was he was always gone. I noticed this time he was always gone. He was never at the house. The older son, he was always gone. He never came back to the house. The only one that was there was me and the youngest son and the little baby. They had a baby. That was it. That was the only people that was at the house after this whole incident with Thomas. Not disappearing, but disappearing, but running away, but stripped his room. Black kid. So me and my foster mom, we never really talked or anything really after that. Like, the whole mood of everything changed. The whole mood. And then next minute I know, she tells me like a day before that my caseworker's going to come. They're going to be either being out of the foster care system or they're going to just do very, very young babies. But she said that it was just too much that has just happened with everything. And she said that, they just want to go into a different direction. So they were sending me back to the city. Now, you think I care? I was so happy to get my ass back to the city. I said, thank you, Jesus, because, man, it was wild. Even when I first got there, my white foster mom told me, she used to have, sometimes she would go do things and she would have her associate, because they were not friends. I'm telling you, everybody talks about everybody. In small towns, everybody talks. She says, hey, I'm going to send you over to what's her name's house. She says, let me tell you about this. If she leaves the house, because she's known to do that, y'all go right with her, because I don't want to see that somebody knocks on the door, and people out here like to just walk in people's houses and stuff, and they see some black kids in there, and she's not there. This is a white woman telling me this at 15. Me and Thomas. She said, make sure she's there. She better be there. And I'm sitting here like, God, like, for real? She said, when you're at school, you're at school. If we take you over to a friend's house or whatever, you go to that friend's house. There ain't everybody's leaving, let's say Chauncey, everybody's leaving Chauncey's house and they're going to go to Rick's house. No, if I drop you up at Chauncey's house, you stay at Chauncey's house. There ain't no going to other white people's houses out there, because it will cause an issue, especially if they don't know that you're in there and you're black. There was a lot of stuff that happened. Thomas was hard-headed. We in a small town in the middle, 100 plus miles away. And the thing about him disappearing as a child in foster care and his room being stripped, you got to have common sense. I'm like, well, where did Thomas go? Where did Thomas go? I said, because there was no cell phones back then. And I'm pretty sure they're not letting no black kid just come and knock on their door and use their phone and not tell everybody. People in small towns talk. They run their mouths. You ain't going to tell me that. And speaking of that, I mentioned this a few months ago about the deer incident. Thomas, they went to go hunting, right? They was like, oh, you want to go hunting? I wasn't going. They were talking about ticks and all that stuff and Lyme disease. That scared me, being like a science person, as being young, and I love science. I said, nah, I'm good. I ain't gonna touch it. Yeah, that's it. Y'all got that. Y'all have fun. Not once, but twice, when they were out there hunting with Thomas, they would play this game called is the animal still alive? I forgot it was a phrase. Is the animal still alive? So they would have a person go to the animal, that like a deer that they just shot, and they would have them go close to it. And then what they'll do is they'll shoot off around next to them to scare them. It's to make you jump. I asked their grandmother, because I couldn't really talk to the foster parents. I wasn't talking to my caseworker, and I wasn't talking to none of those children. The grandmother, because she always been cool. I think she kind of knew the game, and she's always been cool. And actually, she kept me out of a lot of stuff. She's like, "Oh, don't do that. You just do it this way. It'll help you in the long run." Their grandmother helped me with a lot of stuff, and because she grew up in that town, she know how small towns are. She's a white woman. She knows. I said, "Is it normal for people to shoot at people right next to them if they just they just shot a deer, and you have the person go over there and y'all play a game called Is It Still Alive, and you shoot around right next to them, next to a tree or something?" She said, "Absolutely not. That's unacceptable. Who's doing that?" I didn't tell her what. I said, I just wanted to ask. I said, I saw something on TV. I just wanted to ask. That's all. She said, okay. Well, as everybody talks, because I never told her, Thomas and them came back. This was from the first trip. Thomas came back, my foster dad came back, and the sons, and it was like, oh yeah, we got this deer and everything. Now, we had deer meat for a while. I mean, like, yeah, they really hunt out there. So we had deer meat for a long time, deer and cow. And it was like, yeah, it was really cool and everything. And we played go see if the animal's alive. And we shot right next to Thomas. He jumped and got scared and everything. And Thomas, goofy, whew, baby. Some black people are so lost, even the kids, and it's so sad. And I hate to say it that way. But I was like, how am I able to process this? And Thomas wasn't. And he's sitting there laughing like it was funny. Oh yeah, they all, they shot next to me and I jumped and I thought the deer was alive. I said, they shot a bullet next to you, Thomas. Oh yeah, it's not a big deal. Did it again a second time. Same thing. Second time it happened, my foster mom and my foster dad, I seen her turn red. She went in there with her little ponytail. She started walking in there and everything. Closed the door. They was arguing all day, all night. and then it was, I think for the next week, they were not really like speaking for a little bit because she knows the game they were out there playing. They can get in trouble for that. And when I was out there in their house, I made sure my family members, everybody knew where I was because the foster care system, and that's a whole nother story, they wouldn't allow them to take me in. They said something about their carpet. They got to get an updated carpet or something. So I said, they got my family has to get a carpet just to take me into their home, and this is my family? Huh? Yeah, I'm telling you, it was the stuff, they changed the rules every time. It was wild. Like, I experienced all this at 15. That's just 15, not including my other years. That's just here at 15 at this house. So I'm forced to stay in foster care because of this. So me going through that and seeing what happened, I was just like, Jesus Christ, this and seeing how they watch Fox News all day, how they're real big in protecting their own, how they ran out that white family in 6 months. I'm just like, okay. I'm telling you, I went through some stuff there, and I will never forget also the 4th of July, when the owner of the house, the father, his son took us down to the basement, and it was like this wooden door, and it was like keep out or something just creepy and weird. And the son picked the lock and opened it. It was all this slave and I don't even know what to call it, just memorabilia. I've seen babies in jars. I've seen black penises in jars, the whole shaft, everything taken out, all of it put in the jars. This is what these people had in their house in Kansas. And I'm seeing this at 15 years old. Do you know how scared I was? Frightened. And they were sitting there smiling, just like they showed Nolan's friends, everybody else in these photos. They were smiling just like that. I wish I had the photo populated with them, but they were smiling just like that. And actually, I'll pull it up just so you guys can see, because it was mind-boggling. It was crazy. I said, Nolan story. I'm pull it up as a Nolan story, but it really tripped me out because I'm sitting here like, this is what's happening out here, and these people don't care. There is nobody. Now, this was the closest thing I could find for this, but they would be smiling in the pictures just like this. This is how they would be smiling, and so it's just like they get drunk, they get violent, they get upset about something, they get violent. They lose something, like some money, like a big wad of money or something, they get violent. I've seen it. I have seen it. And then seeing this memorabilia, this guy kept in his house of old slavery stuff, and he was smiling in our face, yeah, happy 4th of July, and popping fireworks and stuff. I really couldn't even enjoy the fireworks because I was just thinking of like, okay, Thomas and all these things are happening. The caseworker, my caseworker didn't care. When she came and picked me up after my white foster mom said, there was so much things that has happened in the house and blah, blah. And she also thought I'll be better in the city, which she was correct because I wanted up out of there. It felt depressing, and it was always living in fear. When they sent me back to the city, man, when I tell you I was so ready to get into that independent living program that was created, got up out of foster care. That's why I'm not shocked at what's going on with the Epstein file stuff, because I lived it. This is one house and 1 year of me being in foster care at 15, seeing this happen in real time. Real time. That's why I tell people say, how did you come out okay? And a lot of other foster kids didn't. I don't know. Because a lot of them, I'm telling you, I've seen kids get beaten and choked out. I've seen kids get molested by a group of guards, and the guards laugh about it. I've seen the guards have other kids do the molesting of another child in there just because the child upset them or told on them or was running their mouth or whatever happened. I've seen the cops be involved, especially with the girls. they sit there and telling the transport cops that transfer you from home to home or transfer you from facilities. Shh. They got those. I'm telling you, they got the kids together in foster care. They got us together. So I don't know what happened to Thomas. I really don't. I wanted to tell you this because it was weighing on my spirit. I don't care about people that like it or don't like it. I don't care about, any of it. It is what it is. I had to tell this story because something was weighing on me, and I said it don't feel right to me. It just don't. And now to see this happen in 2026, and what I experienced was in 2023. What do you say to that? What do you say to that? And I'm gonna read some of y'all comments. I'm so sorry. I just had to get that out and everything, but I just wanted to let you guys know about that. So I'm gonna pull the comments up here on the side and then take this off the screen. But I just want to let you guys know that because this was something that weighed on me. It weighed on me. Hey, thanks, Trey. Trey was in here. Great show. Thanks, Trey. I appreciate it. Arie said, did you hear about Jared Jackson 28? Same setup, but a festival? Yes, that's what I was just talking about. This is exactly what I was just talking about. Same setup. If you've ever been to a rave, and I'm telling you, people, if you've been to a rave, everybody knows that at a rave, come on now, there's thousands of people. You mean to tell me nobody saw anything? I'm just not buying that. Donna Jane says, until we unite as a culture, this kind of stuff is going to keep happening to us as Black people. You're right about that. Case My Name said, he should have been in jail. How you unalive your mother and walk away free? That is true from that earlier video that we showed. The Blue Cosmic Auntie says, it feels weird seeing the juxtaposition between white people being dumbly racist and white people warning us about them. I'm telling you, so if I compare statistics based off your comment, my foster home's grandmother, who was telling me, no, don't put the feed up that way. Oh no, move the cows over here. Okay, put the chickens up. That's one person against, I think, 10, 12 people that was always at that house. So for everyone, this is how I see it, and I don't care how people feel about it. For every one white person that is a diamond, and it's like a landmine of diamonds, you got the rest all coal. And if you get somebody like that, when I tell you every time she says, oh, you want to go to the movies with me to see Harry Potter? You want to do this and do that? Yes, I do. Thank you so much. I went to the movies with him. Oh, I got a new Harry Potter book. I'll read it. Thank you very much. This is what I experienced. Donna Jean also says, leave the recessives alone, Black folks. It doesn't matter how long you know them. They always hated us for centuries because they're not the chosen people. It's always going to be us against them. Case My Name also says, the funny thing is most of us don't try to hang around them. It's the exact opposite. That's facts. We mind our own business here and they come. Let me go to some of the later comments. 1 second here. Ratio said, Vision, you should write a book. I should. I want to write a TV series because just imagine that's the foster home I lived in where a Black kid disappeared, ran away. I want you to process it. He ran away and stripped his room. The other 2 kids didn't come to school with me. And allegedly the caseworker came, and this is how I knew that something was up. If the caseworker was supposed to come, if the caseworker was supposed to come, how did I not see the caseworker there when I came back to the house? All I saw was the cops and all these different white folks. I didn't see the caseworker. She didn't. Actually, I never saw her after that. The last case where I saw that came out there was mine when she came to pick me and take me back to Kansas City, Kansas. That's the last time I seen a caseworker. I want to write a TV series about the foster care facility. Baby. And I'm telling you this, it was not just the white folks you had to worry about. It was the Black people too. I can tell you about some Black foster homes, precious child type foster homes and stuff. And I can tell you some stories about with the kids when we have our group therapies or something. I can tell you about the stories, what happened to the kids, how they got in foster care. How one foster, I would never, and I'm gonna tell briefly on this, but how there was one foster kid who came in with just burns. His whole face was burned, just scarred up his whole skin. His mama set him on fire because the guy that she was with was molesting him. And she said he was the reason why that man did that. He was trying to be too pretty. Set her own kid on fire, and that's how he was in foster care. I'll tell y'all some stories, baby. I could tell y'all some stories about stuff like the kids, what they went through. I could tell you about that. It's crazy. Kids, my name says, going to force a child to live in the backwoods instead of family over carpet. Oh, when they told me that, when they told my family, they said, oh, they said they came and inspected the house. So they do an inspection because you got to make sure you have a room for the foster child. Even if it's going to be 2 foster children, they have to have a bunk bed or something. But they had to have the room, bathroom, multiple ways out, doors can be locked, etc. The normal stuff that you hear about at school. And they gave her a rejection letter because they said that her carpet was not up to code and she would have to replace her carpet in order for me to stay there. And this carpet is owned by the apartment complex. So what do you think the apartment complex is going to do? Gateway Townhomes? Go look up Gateway Townhomes in Kansas City, Kansas. I don't know how it looks now, but back then that place was raggedy. Dirty black water used to come out the sink and everything. This is what happened. So this is what I experienced. HCF says Thomas was mutated and was killed out there on the farm. I bet you he's buried 8 feet deep. I don't know. I don't know what happened to Thomas. I really don't. All I can say is I know for sure ain't no child running away and stripping their room. And you said that, his caseworker's coming to get him. Now, the caseworker probably could have came earlier. I don't know. But then you tell me that he ran away. Now the story ain't making sense. 15, I'm already processing it. This stuck with me forever. Donna Jean says, we have been through a lot of S with these evil people, but as always, Black folks are still standing and still breathing. No matter what they throw at us, we're going to always win and survive. That is facts. That's facts. Claire says, so sorry you had to endure such abuse. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's why when people talk about foster kids, they're like, oh, this foster kid is this and that. I said, I can't judge some of these kids because I know what they went through, man. Now, some kids you can't save. Some kids you can't save, man. I've seen it. You can't save them. Most of the white kids that was in foster care, you want to know what they were in foster care for? 2 things, 2 biggest ones. The kids were violent. The parents couldn't control them. They tried to set the house on fire. We had a lot of those. They tried to stab the parents. They tried to pew the parents. It was always something. And sexual assault, SA. That was the 2 biggest things that white kids were in there for when I was in foster care. 100% almost all the time. There was other stuff like little stuff here and there, like maybe an accident. The family was in an accident and the baby was left behind, or a woman got pregnant and she left the baby in the trash. We hear those stories all the time. But for white kids, number 1 on there was violence. They were always violent. And the second was they were being molested by family members. That's how it was. That's cut and dry. That's how it was. And that's the way it was. And it was always a story. When we were in therapy, it was always a story. My father touched me. My mother touched me. My cousin touched me. My brother touched me. I got pregnant with my uncle's baby. This runs deep. So when you go to a small town like that and they kicked out that white family and they're like, oh, we know outsiders, this is how we do it, and this is how we always gonna do it. And you see all these movies with incest and stuff, and you see what's going on in the White House. That's why I tell people, I'm not surprised. I grew up living this and seeing this stuff firsthand. I grew up with other foster children, 12 years old, 9 years old, telling me these stories of white family members that did this to them and why they're there. Oh, and the other one was probably was drugs. There was like meth was huge back. Meth is still huge now, but meth back then There was a lot of children that was taken away from foster homes because their parents was on meth. Tons of them. But when it came down to it, sexual assault, violence. That's how it was. Kids, my name says they really want to go back to treating us like that. The ones that say my family didn't own anybody, they're just mad because poor families they couldn't afford slaves. That is true. Aja says, was Thomas abused from his natural family or another foster family? I really don't know. I'm gonna keep this comment up. Sorry, I'll put this over here. I really, 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 really don't know. All I know is that Thomas was a difficult child to hang out with, to work with. I mean, he once he told the foster parents that, everything changed for him. Because me and him used to be at odds, and they would sit there. They would even the foster kids. They was like, not the foster kids. Their sons were like, "Oh, why don't you just go ahead and fight? Why don't you?" And she says, "No, because they're a part of the state, and I don't want nothing to happen to them." And the state asked me what happened. Even the foster brothers, when we was getting into it, me and Thomas, they wanted us to do some old raccoon, the Django type stuff, and fight out there and gouge each other. These are our other kids that went to school with us, who's supposed to be our foster brothers. So I really don't know. And because and it was actually because Thomas, I'm pretty easy to get along with. It was actually because of Thomas. Thomas didn't like me. I didn't like him. So I didn't really care about if he was abused or not. And he didn't care if I was. So it is what it is at this point. I really didn't care. Case my name says little penis Avenger upset taking this infuriated out on y'all. He did. And what surprised me is when he took it out on his sons. When he took it out on them, everything changed. The kids were never there. His son went to his girlfriend's house. They was always arguing. He would argue with him on the phone saying he ain't coming back. And, I hate your dad. Not typical stuff that you see on movies, but this is what happened. This right here. Let's see here. 1 second. I'll read one more comment. Oh, and I'll read a couple more. Ratio says, I'm really sorry that you experienced that vision. No, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I really don't tell a lot of people my stories because it's like, I don't know if you've ever seen The Blind Side. And, when they were talking about they need to get into Michael Orr's emotional stuff. And the coach was like, why would you, I think it was the father. He said, why would you want, if this guy blocked all that bad stuff out, don't want to remember it, why would you want to bring it up to change that? Let him be happy in the way he is now. Don't touch anything. That's how I kind of feel about things. Now I'm a little more mature to handle it, but you would have gave me like a couple of years ago, I wouldn't really, 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 really be able to talk about any of this stuff. Because the things I've seen, the things I saw, the things that other foster kids went through, I wouldn't have been able to talk about it. I'd have been angry. I'd have been upset because I've seen the stuff that happened to them. I've seen the stuff that happened to me, dealt with it, and it is what it is. But look what's going on with the Epstein files. That's at a federal level. I remember I kept telling you guys for a few shows. I said this is at a federal level. What I was dealing with was a state and local level. Ain't nothing changed from top down, bottom up, whatever you want to call it. Nothing's changed. Still the same program. Ain't nothing changed. Case my name says, okay, they like that they get of them slave movies. That's why they keep making them. Yes. So when my foster parents, when we had to be forced to watch slave movies, I was so frustrated. It was like either slaves or like owning people or something. I was like, it was always Fox News, country music, and slave shows. And if it wasn't that, they'll put on a Western. I'm telling you, that house was a lot. And get this, these are people that took in the kindness of their heart to take some little black children and put them in their home and give them a roof over their head. Okay. But this is what we have to endure to be able to have a roof over our head. Thomas disappearing, his bed is stripped. Y'all got us in chicken and pig coops. When we do something wrong or mess up or accidentally drop something or actually overfeed. I'll never forget. Oh yeah, I remember when they tied Thomas. They tied Thomas to a pole outside one time, and they have greyhounds, beautiful greyhounds, fast dogs too. And they tied him to a pole, and Thomas had overfed the pigs, and some of the pigs got sick. And so they had to like have the animal doctor come out and stuff, and they said don't feed the pigs for a while, blah, blah. When I tell you they went ham on Thomas, tied his butt up, and the dogs, they had the dogs like kind of lunge at him, but they were on chains. And so he had to stay there, and he was there for hours. Hours. And the country, in Kansas, it get hot and humid. So he out there sweating and everything. Tied him up. I'm telling you. But good people that's taking care of the black children and stuff and getting them off the street and giving them a place to feed, a place to stay. And, oh, we care about, they're supposed to be nice white people. They weren't. Arie says, I could totally see your story on Netflix if you decide to write a script. I'll actually want to write a TV series on it, because I'm telling you, you ain't heard or seen anything yet. You have not. I'm telling you, this story, I just had to say something because of Nolan, this whole thing with Nolan. And then if you don't remember that, well, keep forgetting the lady's name, but the black woman that was with those 9 white women and ended up unalive at a co-worker's sleepover. I said, it's too much. And then you got Jared. I said, it's too much going on. I have to say something. This was in 2003. I'm a foster child. This is the state have information, on us and know where we're at. All this stuff still happened regardless. One more question. Too much self-hate, jealousy, and fear is tearing our people apart. That is true. But yeah, this is what I went through. So I want to thank you guys. Y'all held on strong. Thanks for the comments. The comments were great. I just had to get this off my chest. I don't care about anything else. People can like it, people can hate it, whatever. I had to tell what happened. I really did, because it would weigh on me, because I don't know what happened to this kid. I really don't. He could be alive. He could have got out of town. I don't know. He could be with the girl. I really don't know, but I had to say something about this. So as we are in closing of the show, I wanted to pull up a few things. Jesus Christ. So I think she's coming back to the Black community now. I don't know if y'all seen that new Stacey Dash video. I was sitting there looking at her like, okay, yeah. So this popped up. Let me put it this way. I want you guys to take a look. Now they're gonna probably, well, actually, I'm not gonna play the song, but she's actually listening to a rap song. And the comment section had me cracking up. They was like, oh my God, I forgot she's a Bronx, from the Bronx. Somebody says, I'm not in the mood for real. I'm not. Like, so she's listening to a hip hop song. I'm not gonna play it because they be copyrights. But now, remember I told you, growing up in Kansas, Missouri, as soon as something happened to Black folks and these white folks mistreat them, because you forget she was mistreated. She was dragged and taken out of her house that she was living in with a white man, all because of her and her daughter got into it. Now she's on Instagram and social media doing dances to Black music. Y'all might not like what we say on FTP, but we be spot on. Sorry to say it. Also, Bone Thugs and Harmony received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, as they deserve. They deserve it. I mean, Bone Thugs and Harmony, when you talk about one of the best, I think, rap groups of all time, I'll put them in my top 3. Like, hands down, I can still listen to them today. One of my favorite songs still by them is was with Mariah Carey, Breakdown. Love that song. But yeah, and it was good to see all the guys together. One normally they're usually in jail, one sick, one strung out or something. They were all together. They were all on the Hollywood Star Walk of Fame. They were all there. So that was a good thing to see. Now, please know, just closing out the show, FTP Podcast Network. Please go to the FTP Podcast Network. We're moving forward. We're going to have a lot of our shows over there on the FTP Podcast Network. Moving forward, it'll be the full hours. You don't have to stop to do anything, but it'll be over there. So you just go over there, you click on that, and then it'll pull up another screen. Once it pulls up the other screen, then you'll be able to see what's going on. But I want to let you guys know about that. This is what we'll be moving towards moving forward. Also, the FTP store. Thank you guys for support. We're still updating the FTP store. So there's still items on here. Now, this was supposed to be, we normally update this stuff at the first of the month because we like to have stuff changed over. This stuff was for Pride. So we like to have changeovers. We still got a lot of old stuff on here as well. So we still got NWA. Actually, I got this sweater. I'm gonna wear it next time, and then also I'm gonna get a few other items off here as well. Finding pedo and everything. So Nikki did a great job on this. We're gonna have a change over it. We were supposed to have a change at the first of the month, but I think that's a work in progress right now. So I want to let you guys know about that. Also, thank you to you guys that support. Also to everybody, because I don't have the numbers. Nikki keeps track of all the donations. So if y'all donated after the show or before the show or whatever, we appreciate it. She's not here today, so we usually give a shout out to you guys. But if you did, we have not forgotten. So when she comes in from any of the weeks, whatever, we always do our best to make sure that we let you guys know about that as well. For even including the FTP store, we always let you guys know about that as well. So thank you so much. So we will be back with FTP podcast on Sunday. That will be at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will have all of our normal co-hosts here. Please note, this is our Friday. This went over more than expected. So I'm ending it now, but I want to thank you guys so much for the comments. Thank you guys for the support. And and please like, share, subscribe. That on all platforms. We appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Take care.
On blast. Can't stand niggas, but you want our cash. Can't go to the burbs and set up shop. Can't fuck with niggas, y'all been the ops. Follow us around like we're trying to steal. Put that shit back, then you shoot to kill.
Red lips, no hips, long back with a crack. Holding Travis hostage so he won't go back to black. Gave away millions just to get a tax break. Red hat to the back, make America great. Fucked a lot of frogs, but I finally found my prince. Got married at the garden just to upstage the Knicks. Fuck Mom Donnie, shut down NYC. Paparazzi everywhere, all eyes on me. I'm walking white privilege, gotta have it my way. Can't talk shit about me, made him sign an NDA. Please respect my privacy while I throw it in your face. Had to marry Travis to preserve the white race. Red lips, no hips, long back with a crack. Holding Travis hostage so he won't go back to black. Gave away millions just to get a tax break. Red hat to the back, make America great. Red lips, no hips, long back with a crack. Holding Travis hostage so he won't go back to black. Gave away millions just to get a tax break. Red hat to the back, make America great. Inattention whore, giving media fatigue. Jealous of his ex, cause she's out of my league. Watched him go from black girl magic to mayo salad. So insecure, I put his dick in a ballot. World's oldest team, but I'm 36. Mean girls, Taylor Squad, white chicks. Fake as fuck, but my grift is real. Be divorced in a year with a new Disney deal. Red lips, no hips, long back with a crack. Holding Travis hostage so he won't go back to black. Gave away millions just to get a tax break. Red hat to the back, make America great. Red lips, no hips, long back with a crack. Holding Travis hostage so he won't go back to black. Gave away millions just to get a tax break. Red hat to the back, make America great.